Alright, what is going on, everyone? First and foremost, I want to say thank you for being here right now, watching this video. I do really appreciate your time, and I would really appreciate if you do consider subscribing, because it truly does help me out a lot. Now, we got, why does everyone hate Israel Adesanya? You get what I mean? Like, bro, it's pretty much obvious at this point. Like, bro's just absolutely weird. I'm pretty sure during his upcoming, though, right? During what I think it was the 2018 days. I could be wrong though, but definitely during his upcoming, he was something new, something to be, very excited about. You get what I mean? Because bro's on the upcoming. He was something we've never seen before, and he's just like, he's winning all these fights, and he was just overall a very, very relatable person, or very relatable human being to a lot of people. The guy liked anime and things like that, and it was just like, okay, cool. Me personally, I don't like anime, you get what I mean? But a lot of people around the world like anime, and they found this guy a lot. They found him a relatable as a person. And we all know UFC fighters, it's pretty rare that you get recognized just by your fighting style, just by fighting alone. You get what I mean? You have to catch fans by having a personality, by pretty much showing your personality and things like that, right? And fans, that's a way how fans basically get hooked to you. And it's just like, not just fighting, they like you as a person. They want to know more about your outside life, outside of the UFC and things like that. But you guys pretty much get the idea. But now it's just like, bro's just like, he's been around so long. He's been champion for all these years. He just got so cocky. He got used to it. And it's just like, it's time for a new champion, if you get what I mean. But, yeah, man, I just went on an absolute yapping spree. So without further ado, let's just play the video and see what it's talking about.
In his first 13 fights in the UFC, Israel Adesanya's record was 12 wins and 1 loss. The one loss came at the hands of Jan Blachowicz when Izzy moved up to light heavyweight in March 2021, so at middleweight he was still undefeated at 12-0. Many regarded him as one of the best middleweights of all time, mentioning him in the same breath as legends like Anderson Silva, and you could argue Izzy had earned his place in that conversation. Since his debut in the UFC, he's been extremely active, fighting at least 2 but sometimes 3 or 4 times in a single year. He's also not shied away from taking difficult fights, having beaten many of the top contenders in the division. This alone separates him from a lot of UFC fighters who are painfully inactive or avoid tough matchups. But what's also impressive about Izzy is his rapid rise to the top of the division. He defeated Rob Wilkinson, Marvin Vettori, Brad Tavares, Derek Brunson and Anderson Silva before getting a shot at the interim title held by Kelvin Gastelum. Izzy's fight against Gastelum is widely regarded as one of the best fights in middleweight history, with Adesanya winning the fight after a bloody 5-round war. He then fought Robert Whittaker in a bid to become undisputed champ and got him out of there in just 2 rounds, solidifying himself as a superstar in the UFC. But what made Izzy so popular came down to more than just his dominance in the octagon. He brought a showmanship and flair to his fights that made him memorable, and he wasn't afraid to showcase his personality in and outside of the arena. This hasn't changed, but what has changed is Izzy's undefeated run at middleweight. In just the past year, Izzy has suffered 2 bitter defeats and he no longer holds the middleweight title. To make matters worse, he's alienated much of the MMA community by doing things no respectable man should do. So what has Izzy done that has made people turn against him, and is this the end of his reign at middleweight? This video is sponsored by MyBookie. More on them later in the video. Israel Adesanya is an interesting character. His personality is the opposite of what most people associate with fight sports, and it seems like he leans into that. He paints his nails, says and does suspect things, and has a borderline obsession with anime. His nickname, The Last Stylebender, is based on the show Avatar: The Last Airbender, and he talks about anime constantly, giving speeches about it at press conferences and even reenacting scenes during his fights. Some people think this is cool and it's part of why they like him, but equally there are a lot of people who think it's just corny. This is a theme with Izzy. He divides opinion, but if there's one thing everyone can agree on, it's that he's an extremely talented fighter. He's fast, accurate and powerful, and at 6'4", he towers over other fighters in the division. But there's one fighter who makes even Izzy look small in the cage, and his name is Alex Pereira. In August 2022, it was announced that Izzy would be fighting Pereira for the main event at UFC 281. Although this would be their first fight in the UFC, Izzy and Alex had met twice before during their days kickboxing. In their first showdown, they had a technical fight in which both of them displayed impressive striking ability, but Pereira won the fight by decision. They met again just 1 year later in 2017, where Izzy had his chance at redemption. For the first 2 rounds, Izzy looked fairly dominant, and towards the end of the second, he rocked Pereira and almost ended the fight. Alex managed to survive and make it into the third, and this is where everything went wrong for Izzy. Pereira came into the round on the offensive, seeming to have completely recovered from the previous round, and 35 seconds in, he landed a devastating strike that put Izzy out cold. To this day, this is the only time Izzy's been slept, and it put him at 0-2 versus Pereira. 5 years later, and they had their first fight in the UFC, and the outcome was eerily similar to their second kickboxing match. At the end of the first round, Izzy caught Alex with a huge right that left him completely defenseless, but he was saved by the bell. Then Pereira came back in the second, looking like nothing even happened, and he gave Izzy a tough fight for the next 3 rounds. Going into the 5th, Pereira was down on the scorecards, and his corner told him he needed to end the fight if he wanted to win. And 2 minutes into the round, that's exactly what he did. As many fighters do in this situation, Izzy felt like he could have kept going, but he handled his defeat graciously.
What a life, what a moment. Fucking crazy, isn't it? Like, similar to the last time, same story. It's crazy.
How close do you think you were getting him out of there in the first round? Love the swag, but
Give me like 3 seconds, 4 more seconds, it would have been over. But I thought I was gonna stop him later on, like the 4th, maybe 3rd round. But he's durable and he recovers well. So even in the 5th round, I knew he was gonna come strong because he was down. Same thing as last time again. You know, he's the new champion. Congrats to him, and he did it again.
At this point, people were buying into the idea that Pereira was Izzy's boogeyman. After all, he defeated him twice in kickboxing, then followed him to the UFC and beat him there too. Naturally, there was a lot of doubt as to whether Izzy would be able to beat him in their rematch. People saw the fight as more than just a physical challenge for Izzy, but also a psychological one. Yet, from the very moment Izzy lost the fight, he'd been saying the same thing.
You know in your heart you beat him the next time?
I can beat him. I know I can beat him. I just believe I'm better.
A lot of people placed bets on this rematch, including myself, and one of my go-to platforms to make a bet is MyBookie. With fights like Jones Miocic and Pereira Prochaska around the corner, now's the perfect time to place your bets and win big. Edwards Covington is also on the horizon, so you definitely don't want to miss out. You're a simple search away from making some of the...
Yeah, but he's trying to sneak in a promo and whatnot, but let's just skip through that a little bit. But I'm not gonna lie, Israel Adesanya during his upcoming was really relatable, and a lot of people loved him, including me. You get what I mean? I was a bit younger, like what, 16? I don't know, man. But overall, bro, he was a very relatable guy. I thought he was cool. You know, people thought it was something new, something unique, and you know, people liked him. You get what I mean? They found him relatable. Even at one time, he said he was getting beat up in school, and then he had to fight back. And you know, a lot of people find that relatable as a person, you get what I mean? But overall, bro, he just got older and he just keeps doing the same exact thing. Like, you have to mature in life, you get what I mean? Like, you can't always be the same weirdo. Or he even became worse or even more weird, you get what I mean? Both, let's just say both. He became worse and more weird, you get what I mean? You just gotta mature, bro. Even your audience got a lot more mature, and even they think it's cringe, you get what I mean? Like, bro became even more cringe, and it's just like, I don't know what happened to Israel Adesanya, but let's keep going.
Octagon. The pressure was on and the stakes were higher than ever. If he lost now, not only would he fail to reclaim his title, but he'd have to accept that Pereira is simply the better man. The fight started, and very quickly, Alex got to work chopping at Izzy's legs. The first round ended up being fairly close, but in the second, the leg kicks Pereira kept landing on Izzy began to take their toll. After landing yet another, Izzy's leg buckled and Alex moved in for the kill. He began wailing on Izzy and Izzy shelled up, but in his haste, Pereira left himself wide open. And just like that, Izzy proved every single one of his doubters wrong. Incredible how mentally strong Izzy is. To come in confident into the fight where you're supposed to have nightmares of the guy after 3 losses including 2 knockouts, and shutting everybody's mouths up with a spectacular knockout.
I remember, so the first time he knocked me out in Brazil, his son came into the ring and then started to just lie dead next to me. And I'm like, you fucking little asshole. I'll whoop your ass if your dad don't do it for you. But then, yeah, I looked for his kid and I pointed at him and I saw him and I was like, hey, hey, hey. Just to remind him.
This put a close to one of the best storylines the UFC has ever had, and you could tell just how much this victory meant to Izzy.
I hope every one of you behind the screens or in this arena can feel this level of happiness just one time in your life. I hope all of you can feel how happy I am just one time in your life.
It doesn't get better than that, literally, because from this point on, things took a turn for the worst. Dricus du Plessis is a South African mixed martial artist who joined the UFC in October 2020. He competes at middleweight, and since his debut, he's been steamrolling his competition. This put him on Izzy's radar, but what really caught Izzy's attention were the things Dricus was saying.
And I can jump a few more to get in that top 20 and start making my way to that title, because that's ultimately what I want within the next 2 years. I want to be the first real African champ, trained, born, bred in Africa.
Well, I mean, did those belts ever go to Africa? As far as I know, it came to America and New Zealand. I'm going to take a belt to Africa. I'm the African fighter in the UFC.
Izzy didn't take kindly to this, feeling as though Dricus was suggesting he's not a real African, and his frustration caused him to do something he ought to regret. On the 8th of July 2023, Dricus fought Robert Whittaker at UFC 290. Dricus won the fight in the second round by TKO, giving Whittaker his first loss to anybody other than Izzy since 2014. This was a massive win for him, and it brought his record up to 6-0. When it came time to give his post-fight interview, Dricus paid his respects to Whittaker and showed genuine sportsmanship. But even though he did everything right, his moment was stolen from him by Izzy.
Relax, relax, relax. This is my African brother right here. Let's go. What's up? Let's go. Yeah. What's up?
Get
You gonna do? Yeah, my African brother. Yeah, my African brother. What's up?
I'm African, but I ain't no brother of yours, son.
Let's go.
Izzy proceeded to talk about taking DNA tests, seemingly trying to question Dricus' African.
I'm not gonna lie, imagine how Dricus feels, bro, rubbing all up on his face, and you know, he can heavily smell his breath. You get what I mean? It's clearly, you know, we can clearly hear that, you know, Israel Adesanya is not sober, bro. Is like, you know, he drank too much beers. I don't know what it was, but bro, I can tell bro's breath stinks. You get what I mean? Like, come out bro's face. What are you saying? But overall, bro, it was a UFC event, and you know, people drink and things like that and watch, but like, bro, this was not a good decision. You get what I mean? And I promise you, if bro was sober, he would have never done this overall. But yeah, this was just a mistake for Israel Adesanya on his side. But let's keep going.
Heritage. Then, when the mic was put back on Dricus, Izzy went back in for more.
Easy fight. It's easy money. I manifested this. I said I was gonna have this moment, and I know I'm gonna have this moment. Look at me. Hey, stare off. Just say it. Look at me. Come here. Come here. Just feel me. Feel me.
I don't think Dricus could have dealt with this situation much better than he did. He stayed composed despite how much Izzy was disrespecting him, and the whole thing just made Izzy look awful. What the fuck is Adesanya doing? What an embarrassment to us here in New Zealand. Congrats Dricus, solid fight. The amount of secondhand embarrassment I feel for Izzy is insane. What a classy guy.
He's behaving like a clown in there. You know, that's not how a champion behaves. That's not how a man behaves. He's behaving like a child. Conduct yourself like a champion. There's people looking up to you and you're behaving like that? Nah. You know, if that sells tickets, good for him. I'll sell tickets my way. I'm a gentleman, I'm a man, and I'll behave like a man.
It's safe to say Dricus came away from this looking a lot better than Izzy. The two were lined up to settle their beef at UFC 293 in September, but Dricus pulled out of the fight due to a foot injury he sustained during his fight with Whittaker.
I'm fighting in Sydney. I don't give a fuck who. Dickless, the pussy. Dickless. Fuck off. You're out. Strickland, you're in.
And with that, the back and forth between Adesanya and Strickland began. Now, not many people expected Strickland to have a chance in this fight because there's quite an obvious skill gap. But at the very least, people are looking forward to the trash talk, and boy did Strickland deliver. Sean drew attention to some videos from Izzy's past, including one where he claims to be Chinese.
Black outside, China inside. I am Chinese. I'm the Black Dragon.
This was strange in and of itself, but in the context of Izzy's beef with Dricus, it was even more weird, though compared to what came next, it seemed trivial. On September 6th, Sean posted on Twitter linking to a video by the MMA guru covering Izzy's relationship with dogs.
You can see by what is censored on my screen right now. He did something so weird to his own dog that feeding it mouth to mouth became absolutely nothing in comparison.
He went on to show a Twitter account that Izzy has been following for the past couple years, in which a girl roleplays as a dog, as well as other pictures and clips from across the years that suggest Izzy has some sort of weird kink. This was a loaded gun that Strickland was more than happy to fire at their press conference.
Come on, Izzy, give me something, bro. What the f?
When you argue with a fool, those who are watching can't tell who's who.
Oh, there we go. Hey, you know what? You know what, man? The moment I post a video of me jerking off my dog, they will put some credibility to that. Fucking puppy porn, man. I had to double check that shit just to make sure it was legit, and it was legit. No, get hats off to the fucking Chinaman. He's a bad motherfucker. I think we can all agree that he's a bad motherfucker. There's no easy way through the Chinaman. But hey, you guys, I'm up for it. You guys motivate me. It's gonna be awesome to bring the belt back to the States. No more painted nails, no more dog collars for you guys. Let's go.
Izzy hardly bit back during their press conference, but you could tell he didn't like the comments Strickland was making. Sean was making him look like a creep, and Izzy had no answer for it. Ultimately though, what mattered was that he performed when it counted, in the octagon on September 9th. But when fight day rolled around, Izzy's worst nightmare came true. From the first round of the fight, Strickland walked Adesanya down, keeping him on the back foot and giving him little space to breathe. He kept the pressure on, backing Izzy up towards the cage and limiting his offensive options. With 27 seconds left in the first round, Strickland managed to land a huge right that caught Izzy clean and knocked him off his feet. Sean then tried to go for the finish, and it looked like he might get it, but Izzy managed to weather the storm. The following rounds didn't go much better for Izzy, and honestly, Strickland made it look easy. At the end of the fifth, after a dominant performance throughout the fight, Sean started taunting Izzy, goading him into attacking, but Izzy wanted no part of it. It looks like he'd given up, even though he would have known he needed a knockout to win. The fight then went to decision, and Strickland won on all three judges' scorecards, making him the new middleweight champ. Absolutely no one could have predicted the fight would go this way, and this is arguably the most embarrassing defeat in Adesanya's career. But what made his loss even worse was that Izzy began pleading with Strickland not to bring up his dog in the post-fight interview.
Israel came over and was saying some stuff to you right after they wrapped the belt around you. Do you remember what he told you?
Oh, it was fucking strange, you guys. It was fucking strange. He was like I think he was mad that I made from his dog. I'm not even joking. Is that what it was? He was mad that I made from his dog. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here, man? Are we having this conversation?
This was a low for Izzy, who probably would have done something humiliating to Strickland if he'd knocked him out, just like he's done in the past.
I tell you what, if you win this fight, when we fight, I knock you out, I'm gonna do a TikTok dance over your grave.
And the fact he was asking Strickland not to bring family into it when he taunted Pereira's son after their second fight didn't sit right with fans. Then when he was supposed to answer questions in the post-fight press conference, he spoke for less than a minute, took no questions and walked out. It was clear losing this fight got to him far more than his loss to Pereira ever did. At this point, Izzy's reputation was in tatters. He'd lost his belt, many of his fans, and his dignity. And just when he thought things couldn't get worse for him, it was reported he'd pled guilty to a drunk driving charge. Apparently, he was stopped by authorities in New Zealand and found to have a blood alcohol level approaching double the legal limit. He issued a statement saying, "I want to apologize to the community, my family, and my team for the decision I made to get behind the wheel after drinking at dinner. I'm disappointed with my decision to drive. It was wrong. I know that people might follow me, and I want them to know that I do not think this behavior is acceptable. All Izzy will get for this is a fine and a slap on the wrist, but on top of everything else that's gone on, it's not a good look." So I guess the big question is, will Izzy be able to bounce back from all of this?
But yeah, I'm gonna just end this video here though. Let me know what you guys think about this, all of this down in the comment section, man. But I don't think Izzy is gonna be able to bounce back, bro. He's getting past his prime, if you get what I mean. Bro's definitely not in his prime anymore. He's definitely getting a lot older, and he basically, new upcomers are coming in the UFC, and he's just, I don't think he really has a chance. And he said his next fight is just gonna be for fun. I don't know, man, but overall I feel like he can still pull pay-per-views. People are still interested to see him fight, even though he's like such a weird guy. But crazy how he went from on top of the world for so many years, and he just felt like he could never lose, nobody could ever beat him, and he just got so cocky, and it's just his whole personality he let everything change him, bro. The money, the fame, I don't know what it was, but he just started painting his nails, doing a whole bunch of weird things, right? And it's just like, bro, he got so cocky, and he became a hypocrite. Like, he became the person who can do certain things to you, but if you do it, you're wrong. Like, bro, that doesn't make sense. Like, if Sean Strickland did, if, like, let's say, right, Israel Adesanya knocked out Sean Strickland, or Israel Adesanya beat Sean Strickland by decision, bro, Israel Adesanya would try his absolute best to, bash or humiliate Sean Strickland. But now that he lost, he can't take the embarrassment. He's like, okay, please don't mention my dog. Don't mention family. Please don't embarrass me anymore, because he really can't take it, bro. You get what I mean? It's just like, yeah, man, I guess his ego just basically got, damaged, if you get what I mean. His ego got damaged and crushed, and it's just like out the window at that point. And it looks like his life is just overall going downhill at that point, man. But yeah, man. But without further ado, though, let me know what you guys think, and subscribe for more content. Peace out.